Welcome my friends, this is Maniacal Incorporated, continuing on with my CK3 modded playthrough. I'm using the Tip Volume 2 mod from Pied Noir. You can find a link below in the description. What are we going to call this series? Would it be a bit too on the nose to call it just the Tip? I'm playing in Ireland, so we could call it Tip of the Morning to ya. Nah, I don't think so. What I might do, and it'll act as a bit of a guide for where I want to go with this series, is I might call it the Island of Saints and Scholars. Or maybe the Ireland of Saints and Scholars. We need to get Ireland into the title and appease the YouTube algorithm. What I might do is try and maintain control of Munster by adding Dynasty elective and try and maintain power, or try and keep power in the hands of high-learning individuals. And we have such a potential successor here in the form of our bishop, Cormac MacQuillenon. And as I was coming to check out his stats and to check out the stats of a couple of other people, I found that his father, poor owl Quillenon, died from his wounds in, does it tell me? Quite recently, 872. So he was wounded in the aftermath of Cormac's capture. You'll remember on the last episode that Cormac was captured in our battle with the Squelch, the Scottish Welsh. And poor Quillenon was trying to make up for his son's absence. He was wounded, and it looks like he has died from those wounds. We suffered a bit of a setback towards the end of the last episode. We lost our allies, the Dal Nara, and we were then hit by Vikings, who captured... I'm not too sure who the Vikings... Did the Vikings capture Quillenon? We had to... Or did the Vikings capture Cormac? Somebody captured him anyway. And we had to ransom him back, and we had to ransom our son back as well. So we had a bit of trouble there at the end of the last episode. Yet, we have Munster. What I'm going to do at the moment, we're going to continue trying to impress Loch Lane and get them to join us willingly. We're going to probably invade Ossory at some stage and take that before it gets gobbled up. These guys, I was thinking that what we might try and do is attack them or continue raiding them. What I might also do instead, actually, is try and arrange a marriage with them. And at that point in time, we would have control over a good chunk of Let Moga, the southern sphere of influence. And possibly we might just try and play tall, play as Munster, and see if we can dominate the rest of the regions. However, the Squelch are going to continue pushing into the country, so we might have to watch that. We are in a bit of a problem at the moment, though. With Quillenon dead, we are now short some champions, and we do not have a lot of very good champions, potential champions to pick from. So this is what we are looking at down around the bottom of our champions list. Here is Dovliachna, who historically will succeed us as the King of Munster. He's actually the son of the king that was stoned to death by the Vikings in 859. So he's a 7. Then we've a guest. And then we've our brother Leora. And his son, Fingoine, will succeed Dovlachna. And he'll actually, Fingoine will rule up until 902. And then he'll be succeeded by Cormac MacQuillenon. So we have all, I think these guys have been added by Pied Noir. So we have all of the historical kings of Munster from this time period forward. We have 1,000 prestige. We need another 500 to add Dynasty to Munster. But we also, I think we'll have to spend 150 to get some potential recruits. Now, the only problem is when we get those recruits, we have no money. So, I'm going to send out the Herald. And we are going to try and get this number back up. And we're going to have to go raiding again. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed it? We're going to go raiding. Now, just after sending out the Herald, I've been told that we've gained a level of fame. So there you go. That's impressive. And Cormac MacQuillenon has become a symbol of God's infinite forgiveness. Always ready to offer a helping hand and an open mind to the ones in need, Cormac has been instrumental in keeping alive the insular precept that no one is ever truly innocent, and therefore no one can pass judgment on others aside from God. You're spending a lot of time with this whole religion stuff. You should be probably learning military theory. That's what I'd rather you spend your time at. In the last episode, I said that Cormac might have been an abbot. Cormac was a bishop. The historical Cormac MacQuillenon was a bishop. Bishops, we didn't have dioceses in Ireland until the early 1100s, so what exactly a bishop is or does at this time period is kind of confusing. But it's quite apt that we have the historical Cormac, very high learning. Like I said, we're looking at him very low, most other things. But he was known historically as a scribe and as an erudite figure, so I think this is very fitting the way it's working out. And I think we're going to see if we can prepare him to succeed us. But like I said, we need to get another 600 prestige, and we're going to get that from raiding. Where are our new neighbours going? They're going way off. On a sun holiday, maybe. Our wife, Bardov, has given us a son. Praise Saint Breed. Eóganacht Chaisil. Sure. May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. I've only just realised that all of the branches of the Eóganacht in this game are not actually connected to the Eóganacht. So, the Eóganacht Chaisil are part of the Eóganacht dynasty, but then all of the other Eóganacht families are their own dynasties. So, do you remember I said in the last episode that we might share power with the other Eóganacht families? Nope. This is an Eóganacht Chaisil run. As we near the end of the year 874, we're told that we've gotten a new learning lifestyle perk. What I am thinking of doing is leaving this tick over until 875. We're going to hire one of the new champions that has arrived at our court, and then we are going to begin raiding, because we just have enough money, barely, to hire one of the two champions that's arrived. So we're going to sort out our lifestyle perk. Now, like I said, I don't think we have much of a reason to continue down the theologian path at the moment. We've already taken one entry in whole of body. I think I'm going to switch across to scholar, so we're basically just flitting between all of these, and we're going to go for scientific. Now, that isn't going to make a huge amount of a difference for us at the moment. Which one are we actually fascinated by? Do you know what? I think it's knocked about 14 years off of it, or 12 years. It's actually knocked a chunk off. He's still not going to see it. 41 years, you're not going to see it. He possibly could. He possibly could if we add some more of those whole of body traits. I don't think he will though. But let's see if between himself and his, hopefully, his high learning successor, if we can keep development and keep research growing and make Munster a centre of learning deserving of the name of the province of saints and scholars. We'll see if we can make it the island of saints and scholars. It is the 1st of January 875. The previous year was quiet as our armies recovered, as we set our affairs in order after forming the Kingdom of Munster, the Duchy of Munster. Here's one of the knights that has offered to join us, Sean Uvrenin. So we're going to recruit him to court. We have just about enough. I have to make sure that he is in the army. He is indeed. So Laura has also been dragged into the army with his one prowess. Seamus has been retired. He was the temporary bishop when Cormac was captured. We have a couple of more that we can recruit, and hopefully we should get the money to do that after 1 or 2 or 12 or a lot more raids. We'll raise all here. Set them to a raiding army. Things already aren't looking good. I think we are going to have to probably head for Meath, who we are kind of allied with, and see from there. We managed to find a single church in Leinster that had some money in it. We have raided that. I think we're going to go up along the coast as far as... There's a chance if we attack Meath that our ally in Tier 1 will come down and assist. The only other place at the moment that we are actually strong enough to attack is Arguilla. Now we can see that Kildare has gone to war for the conquest of Ufalia, and I think they've been successful. Now, do they actually have enough to siege the area? It looks like they do, so we could be starting to see a powerful block forming on our border. That could potentially stop us from moving north. We failed in our attempts to sway the chieftain in Loch Lane. Arguilla are coming for us as we siege down Armagh. So some interesting developments. Let's see how Sean is going to get on his first day in the job. As always, look at him there, leading the way. We've a couple of... Dovdal Creach has been wounded. Our brother has been wounded. Buachan, which I think means something along the lines of victorious. He is... I should probably just pause it in case somebody comes for us. Mach Yakna. Trying to figure out who these people are now. I don't know who this guy is. He's just joined our army recently. Very recently. This is his first day on the job as well. Look at this, so many people. First day on the job. We might be in a position, if we are lucky, where while we're up here, that we might be able to... no, it's a bit risky. Like I said, we could try to... Okay, so our ally, Aed, is mad. Do you know what? I don't think he'd miss 6 quid from a church, would he? Let's see if we can raid down the church and run if Meath tries to send forces north. So I think we might be in a better position to get out of here. The only thing is then, yeah, we need to get the army back up to capacity again. I don't think we're raiding there. Possibly because we're allied we can't. Maybe we shouldn't have tried to raid our allies. We're just stopping off. We're just resting. It's never... Don't mind us. Ufalia made one last desperate attempt to try to stave off its occupation. And a second desperate attempt. And after almost a year of raiding, we come back with 21 gold and 21 prestige. Lads, we'll have that missing 600 prestige in no time. I made some notes after the last episode. One of them was to go into my dungeon and check on my 2 prisoners. Something just popped up to remind me that I had 2. I mean my 1 prisoner. I only had 1 prisoner after the end of the last episode. Anyway, so Diarmid has been here for 5 years. He's having fun. He didn't want to leave. So yeah, no, look, I forgot about my prisoners. I always do. We need knights. Why don't we recruit him? He is a nephew of the chieftain of Ossory, who refuses to ransom him back. You... He doesn't want you. He doesn't want you, Diarmid. We're going to recruit Diarmid. We're going to put him in the army. And in a couple of minutes, we're going to send him against his uncle. And possibly make him the puppet ruler of Ossory. Will we do that? If he joins us, we might very well install him as the ruler of Ossory. You have absolutely no choice. Too true. Now we can see that Loch Lane has just raised its armies. Loch Lane doesn't have a great amount of places it can go to raid. And we can see that Kildare and, oh well, there they're gone. Kildare and Offaly have now come under a single ruler. I was thinking about taking Ossory, taking Ufolia, and possibly even taking Evonia, spreading out in that direction. Our father has died. Poor old Dovdalbarian. That means that we have a vacancy on our council. We have 2 guests at court that are actually more suited to him, or that are more suitable than him, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to appoint Dovliachna. So he's the son of the ruler that was killed in 859, and he historically succeeds Donica. He's not going to be succeeding, I don't think he's going to be succeeding Donica. He is a conscientious scribe. He's not great, but I mean, come on, how could you possibly have anybody else succeed other than a 4-star scribe? Of course, we still need to actually implement Tanistry elective. And yeah, we'll keep him on foreign affairs, see if he can make us some friends, especially this guy. I've gotten a notification that I can, or that I should, educate some of my children. Here is my son and current player heir, Crundmoyle. I'm going to give him, or I'm going to keep him on the intrigue education. We could change him to learning, but he wouldn't be great at it. And we're gonna take it that we're gonna have that 1500 to put Tanistry on the province. So I will send him to my spymaster, Dovdeal. And we also have our daughter Sive. And Sive, however, has the learning trait. And who will we send her? Maybe she might be a physician one day. So we'll send her to our court physician, Dovdalcriach. It is almost May of 876. How time flies when you have no money or prestige. I got a pop-up that we had successfully swayed Chieftain Kubraka of Loch Lane. I went to see if he would accept vassalization. He would not. And then I got a pop-up that he would accept vassalization. So we're going to offer that to him. I want to see if in May... Oh, we've got low control in Tovuan. Greetings, my benign liege. I accept your gracious offer of vassalization, my liege. So, Munster now is under our control in totality, except for the errant county of Ossory, which is part of the Duchy of Leinster in this game. Historically, like I said, it had been part of Munster up until the 850s. Then it kind of did its own thing for a short while. Then it became part of Leinster. I think it had been part of Leinster previously as well. It gets pushed back and forth. County Clare was the same between Connacht and Munster. So these border regions often would kind of oscillate between provinces. Let's see. Now that we have this entire region under our control, let's see if we can get together an army to do a substantial raid. We have just over 1,000 troops. Can we make our mark on the island of Ireland, get some chunk of money and prestige together, and then attack Ossory? With just over 1,000 troops, it is probably the largest Irish army that has been assembled so far. We've seen the Norse put together forces of multiples of this. but at the moment, there's a couple of places up around the 700s, but I think we're the first Irish faction to cross 1,000 under the command of the King of Munster, Donnacha MacDuv We don't have a lot of choices. What we're going to do is we're going to take our army and we're going to march for Ossory. That's where we're going to start. I think we could very well head for, I didn't spot it, Kildare, Trim. I don't think we'll be able to attack Meath. Then we can head for Breffni, the region of the Dalfiach. It kind of depends on how many times we get attacked. And then, possibly, up into Carrickfergus. And then we have this little bridge. Depending on how many troops we've lost by that stage, we will see once we reach, if we reach Antrim. Somebody, I don't know who this is, the ruler actually of Kildare, has been discussing with our new Chancellor, Dovliachna, and he says that one day we could be friends. Yeah, maybe, sure. Now we're told of the rise of the Scots, though they share common origins with the other Anglo-Saxons. The clans living in northern Britain's lowlands have adapted to life in the rugged terrain, diverging culturally and linguistically from their former countrymen. The Scots have enthusiastically embraced their new cultural identity. Will we be able to raid them? That's what that question should have been. So we've already lost some troops. I think entering Kildare might actually cause us to lose even more. The settlement of Gavron, an important stronghold in Greater Ossory, has fallen to my raiders. We have the run of vast tracts of land and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of Chieftain Corul to choose from. And of course, his nephew, who is in our army, he's serving as one of my knights, he'd be able to tell us where the best of them are. The troops stand ready, awaiting my command to give them direction. Bounteous plunder, so it will be sacked for 20 years. Development progress will decrease. And of course, the issue is that we're hoping to take this place at some stage. Now, the only thing is that I am compassionate. So we gain 100 piety. Or, you see, I do need that money. I need that money. I want that money. Even though he's compassionate, I think he has to weigh up the fact that he needs to display strong leadership characteristics in front of his men if he is to hope to retain control. So we are going to sack Ossory and give it the recently sacked thing here, which is going to be on for 20 years, and we're hoping to take it in the next couple of years. I'm sure it's fine. And while we're at it, we might as well go to Kilkenny. The High Chiefess has become pregnant. It looks like that battle excited him. That battle excited our ruler. Let's see where we can go. Just as we bring some money back in, just for safekeeping. Let's see. Once we get into Leinster, I'll see if we can. We're going to lose troops if we go in there. If we go that way into Meath. Let's come this way. Once we get into Dublin, see if we can maybe hit... I don't think we can hit Kildare from the north. So yeah, if we try and enter Kildare from the north, we're gonna lose some men, pretty much because the place is entirely bog. Let's see, can we head for Breffni? We'll take them up in this direction. And there you go. That's something that we were worrying about a while ago. Oh wow, all of Meath I think has risen against Kildare, so they have ended up in a pretty bad scenario. And they are sent back to Kildare. 1,200 men under the High King. So never you mind about what I was saying about having the largest army. There you see 1,200 men arrayed. And we're having Breffni come out and attack us. The army is commanded by the High King. Not the High King. I wish I was the High King. Kubraka was wounded by Tuchel. We've had some battles with Tuchel before, if I'm correct. Our new champion, Sean, has wounded somebody. Kubraka was wounded by Tuchel again. And Kubraka, of course, is our vassal. We have managed to vanquish the forces of Breffni. So is Kubraka. There he is. The poor lad. Look at the baiting that he's after getting. Is this the first raid that he's joined us on? I think it is. So this is his first engagement. Things were looking great. He was having a great old time. He attacked Ossory. Burnt that place. And now look at him. The baiting he's after getting. I think we're going to have to put this guy as our new diplomat. Both because he's a powerful vassal and hell's bells. Look at that. He is currently severely injured. In poor health. He's fine. He's grand. Walk it off. We have successfully sieged down Breffni. Our only problem now is that we are in no position to head in an easterly direction. So we're going to have to head back down. I still don't think we could take Kildare. We could, but they'd be substantial losses. And that minus 100 would probably leave them in a position to attack us. However, as Kildare recovers from the beating it received from Meath, we're going to be able to cross into Ufolia. Gormla has given us a floating baby. That'll be useful. That baby can float in over the walls of castles and open the gates. She wants to name the baby Gormla. After herself? Yeah, sure. Grand out. If it'll keep you happy, grand out. So our other wife, Dovbar, has become pregnant. We see that Kildare is coming to attack us. Probably poor old Dovbar, even though we have two other marriage positions vacant, I'm probably going to divorce her at some stage, because of course she was giving us an alliance to the Dal Naradi, who are no longer in power. Now we've gotten a pop-up. Somebody wants their baby back. Sure. I meant to remember that we had somebody's baby, and I would have forgotten. That baby would have grown up in prison. I would have completely forgotten about it. So Kildare has come in against us to try and defend its new holdings. Looks to be a pretty good battle. They have horses. Horses in Bogland. That's not great. That's not great. There's Sean up the top. Kirkon. Dovliakna, who I have recently replaced with Kubraka as our diplomat, or our chancellor. Cormac isn't doing too shabby. Buokon, fair play to you. He's after getting himself a beard. And I think, yeah, we're in another battle. While I was admiring the achievements of the last one. But again, I don't think they're in much of a position to hit us. Now Kubraka has been swayed again. So I just wanted to bring him up and keep him happy. So I will cancel that scheme. And we'll go and find somebody else to sway in a couple of minutes. Once we're done baiting up these lads. There you go. Bless them. They're coming after us again. I was going to see if I could get the army. I don't want to lose that many troops to attrition. Because the other thing, of course, now it looks like we're going to have to fight Kildare unless we can get out. Because what I would do is just bring them back. Because it's going to take us a while to recuperate 100 losses. So we're going to take them into Evonia and march them south into Tuavuan. So many pop-ups! Lads, will you Give me a minute to be happy with my money. So it told us that we got a lifestyle perk. What horrendous timing. I could have gone for this before the illness. Well, no, I probably wouldn't have. I would have continued down in this direction. Increased development in county efficiency. So we'll unlock that. And we are ill. My mortal body. Who cares about that? My prestige, my reputation, and my soul. In the eyes of God, that's all I care about. We will tell our physician, our absolutely fantastic physician, 21 learning. He's a renowned physician, so I was thinking it might be an idea to actually have Cormac Mac Quillenon serve as our physician for a period of time to see if he can get those traits to make his learning go up even more. Do no more than what is necessary. We feel a little brighter. He decided that the best course of treatment would be some rest. That's a good idea. He gently tucked me in under many layers of blankets. Oh, so some extra sleep. Guys, we just needed some sleep. It was fine. Excellent work. That's great. And so the army marches with its king sleeping somewhere, I don't know where. We bought back a grand total of 15 gold and 15 prestige. I thought we had more than that. I think we made more by just burning this place and stealing somebody's baby. We didn't really attack a lot of places. We're going to stand down the army. It looks like somebody has been pushing up into Antrim. Yeah, somebody has taken Antrim, and the Dalfiach are the only ones that haven't been hit, so we're going to stand on this army. We'll see just how that last battle went against the forces of Kildare in Ufalia. They're sending their bishop out against us. No match for Sean. They did quite well, but they had a lot less champions, and hopefully poor owl Kubraka will be given time to recuperate. Right then. Can't complain too much about that last raid. The last series of raids and the amount of money that we were able to get. We have learned a very important lesson though, and that is that we would probably want to increase the levy size or the garrison size of our holdings to stop the same thing from happening to us. So we're going to build some simple palisades. And I know that we have... Where has he gone to? Has he been driven out? Oh, poor Diarmaid's been driven out. He's not there anymore. He's not a knight anymore. So we don't have to feel too bad about recruiting some people. Ocha or Oched. And Alban is the other one who answered our summons. So I think they might be cheap. 3, fantastic. Whereas this guy is actually a fancy guest. 21. He's mostly a religious person. I think we'll hire Ocha and Alban. And there you go. And now we have seen, fair play to him, he helped us on the raid. Kubraka can retire. He has shown his loyalty and devotion to us. And Buachon is no longer serving. So, do you know what we're looking? We're getting a respectable knights list together. In the last episode, I married my sister Sheila off to somebody in somebody. Louis the Stammerer of West Francia. Now he died, and she was instantaneously married off to this guy. I don't know how to pronounce the place, but this region in northern France. He won't form an alliance with us, so we've tried to negotiate an alliance. -7. I think we could sway him. So we're gonna start a sway scheme against him and see if we can get him to negotiate an alliance with us. Not the greatest army, but not too shabby. Couldn't complain about that. In the last episode, I couldn't understand why Leinster had suddenly become Leon. Of course, when I clicked on the guy and saw that he was a count with no liege, I didn't think that maybe he was also the Count of Leon, and he is. So that explains it. His military isn't great. I was thinking about trying to sway him. I was thinking about trying to sway him the way that I could get him to accept a marriage between my daughter and his son and heir. So we'd form an alliance, and we could be besties. But if I am correct, we can't subjugate him. I thought we might be able to gain his subjugation. And of course, he does actually have a lot of allies. He's fairly strong with the allies. It's Hastine. He is causing most of the trouble. It'll be interesting to see how this develops. But that would have been interesting if we could have subjugated him and gotten a foothold on the continent again. Possibly push for Brittany, but I don't think that'll be happening. Our wife, Bardov, has given us a child. A daughter, who she wants to call Ben Ulla. So she's missing the fact that her father has been driven out of Ulla. May you grow to be strong and wise, my daughter. I think we'll accept that. We have another proposal. We have another prisoner. I really should check who the hell I actually have in my prisons. We've nobody now. We've just gotten another 50 quid for releasing somebody's baby. I won't lie, I'm not entirely too sure who that was. We're into March of 878. Again, it's a period of quietness as we wait to get our armies back up to... What could we possibly do with our armies back up to capacity? It'll be either a raid or probably an invasion of Ossory. I'm going to make some switches as to what everyone's doing. We're increasing development in Urvuan. Development in Thomond is absolutely terrible. It is 1 and control is 9. So I am going to devote both of my councillors who control those matters. I'm going to devote both of them to Thuavuan. We have development 3, control 76 isn't too bad, and control 97, and dev 3, so that did go up from 2 a while ago. So we're going to try and get control and development up in Thuavuan a small bit, and that'll also help our max army. We're now up to 1200. We can field 1200 men on a good day. And what perfect timing! Our wife has offered to tutor one of our councillors, and rather handily enough, our marshal, Corcoran, won't lose opinion with us. Our chancellor will. Cormac won't, but he's grand. So we're going to have her tutor, our marshal, because I know that he is spending, at the moment, I think it's 10 years to get control in Thuavuan up. So hopefully that's going to be of some help. We're into July of 878. We can see that the forces of Breffni have just barely secured a victory. Raiders from Breffni have just barely secured a victory over the Evonia. I wonder if they'll be in a position to continue raiding afterwards, however. And we can see also that Chieftain Curul MacDunlana, he is no longer pious. I'm not too sure what he's doing, that he's losing piety every month. He is gluttonous. It is distasteful to the pious rulers of Munster to have such a man on our border. We have been looking for an excuse to remove him from power and install his nephew, And that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to declare war. And we are going to... We could subjugate him. And keep him in place. I don't think so. We're going to conquer the county. Declare war. Raise our forces. And again, we will put them under the command of Donica MacDovdalberin. And we should have an easy enough march in, as long as he doesn't get out first of all. Now, I was saying we'd have an easy enough time. He's pulled some troops from somewhere. He split them up early, however. What a time. Battle makes us feel alive. So we are no longer ill. I am glad to be well again. And hopefully, I think we just barely managed to give that initial army enough of a beating to knock them down. I won't ask questions. Another battle at Kilkenny. Are we in a position, though, to... They hired some knights. They have a bit of an advantage over us. Oh, they have a substantial advantage. We are known for our devotion to faith. We're going to retreat back. And they're following after us. Well, it could be a series of devastating defeats here. Let's see if we can do something. We'll let this battle play out first of all. So we're going to fall back deeper into Munster. The capital is under siege. Before we do anything else, we will take a look at the Battle of Kilkenny. Sean, Ucca, Alban, our new knights. There's Cormac, 15 kills. They have a substantial chunk of knights that they have gotten from their allies. Which was the first? This would be the defeat at Gavron, where we followed in after them. Ucca was injured, from what I can see. And then, here is where they drove us away from Port Loriga. We're not in a position to recruit any mercenaries. We have retreated up into Tuavuan to recover, and we have called upon the High King. I had to check what his name was there for a second. Eob, our ally, is he our father-in-law? He is. We have called him in, and hopefully, with the largest army in Ireland, at just over 1,000 troops, we will hopefully see him crossing down towards us. We probably sent him a letter telling him that his daughter was with child. And she has given him a granddaughter, and us a daughter, Eleonora. Let's go for a good Irish name. Nuala. May you grow to be strong and wise, my daughter. And as we sit here, there it is, the army of the High King, marching down to get us out of trouble. It looks like Eóganacht has attacked Evonia and conquered it. Worst comes to worst, I will begin the process of marching down, and we'll attack Carul and stop him from actually taking our capital. And hopefully we'll be able to keep that going for long enough that the High King will get his forces in. So yeah, we wouldn't have been able to do this without him. There you go, it's an overwhelming advantage. One of his knights wounded. One of the knights of Ossory. We can come in, I think we will If we can start the siege, I think we'll try and get this finished. And let him do what he wants. If he wants to siege Port Loriga, let him away off. I don't think he'll be able to complete that before us. Do you know what? It's a lot closer than I expected. You might also have seen a little pop-up that we had increased our opinion with the... what would he be? Our sister's father-in-law. Well, we also got a pop-up that we can't continue increasing his opinion anymore because he's dead. So here is our brother-in-law, the new Duke, and we're going to start to sway him. We can't offer him a negotiated, or we can't negotiate an alliance at the moment because we're at war. So we're minus 44, and minus 50 of that is coming from the war. So I think we should be able to get him to accept an alliance, which is absolutely fantastic because we need them. It's a lot closer than I expected. We very well might have to lift the siege and go down against Krul. I don't want to lose Port Loriga. I don't want him to take it at all, because he could try and get revenge for that time that we burnt his holdings. Desperate news reaches our forces that the siege of Port Loriga is less than a percentage point ahead of ours. So what the King of Munster has decided to do, and it's something I should have decided to do a while back, is to give up command of the army. We could give it up to this guy, but I'm going to give it to Bochon. So they're on 148.9 and we're on 148.5. So hopefully that's going to speed it up a bit. I don't think we're in a position... Oh, Cormac is... Cormac, you should be in the siege. Now is not the time, Cormac. From all my evenings watching stars, I have seen with my own eyes what I have only heard of before. The stars move at different speeds, and no wonder the siege progress is going so slow. My man's looking up the stars. Now Cormac doesn't agree. I will find my answer in the heavens. Or we should focus on earthly matters. 50 learning. We get insight in the heavens, stewardship +1, learning +1, prestige. Or we can do earthly focus, monthly piety and clergy opinion. What does Cormac think of us at the moment? It's 100. I think we will continue. Well, now we've plenty of time to be looking at the stars because we've just given command of the army over to Bochon. Carul MacDunlana has died. In the midst of the war, he has been replaced by a small baba. It has come to my attention that some local commoners are moving to Le Mans. Locals, newly established or not, praising me can surely do no harm. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and impress him. Lose 100... Yeah, sure, lose 15 gold. That's fine. So our sway progress improves. How are we doing? 187.7. Oh, just barely. Just barely. Bochon. Anyone who is not just looking at the stars is doing a much better job than Donica. So, Carul has died. Died from his wounds. He commanded the armies. We pause just in time, and I think we've actually taken the new chieftain hostage. So this poor baba. So be it. The forces of Ossory fade away. Here was that last battle. And there he was commanding the forces. That's probably the one that Carul was wounded in. It was his last battle, and then it was a rush to try and siege down our capital. Dunlang, my brother-in-law. How is he my brother-in-law? He was killed. I have no idea how this man is my brother-in-law. We've married somebody off to him. There we go. That's how he's my brother-in-law. We married my sister off to him. I should have been taking more notes of who I was marrying my family off to. We can invite her back to court. And see, we might be able to secure an alliance somewhere else. But for now, what we're going to do is we are going to hand Ossory over to Diarmid. Was Diarmid fighting in the armies by any chance? He wasn't. I know he was fairly far down the knight list. It's actually easier to find him by going to our champions. Coming down to Diarmid. And we will grant him the Earldom of Ossory. And so, hiding the fact that we have taken the chieftain hostage, and I'm sure we still have him in prison, we will stand down our army. And we still have the High King's army standing there. Thank you very much, High King. Thanks for the help. That was awesome. That wasn't too bad an episode. To say the very least, I think we will call it there and start sorting everything out. We see some powers forming around us. Actually, our expansion has been pretty much cut off. We have Connacht has formed and will probably push for Breffni. Kildara has expanded a bit. They have expanded into the lands of Meath, actually. Into the... So Ufolia is part of the High Chiefdom of Meath. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Whether Eoth will try and come and take that land, or whether they will push for this part of Meath. We still have Leon on our border. They're recuperating. Their alliances aren't great. And the very last thing that I will see if I can do is, here is our sister. And we're in a position to negotiate an alliance. So we'll send that off. And at the start of the next episode, we should get that pop-up that alliance has been formed. It will bring us closer to affairs on the continent. And we can start to figure out where we're going to go next. I think a raid. A raid is as good a place as any. As always, thank you for joining me on this episode. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to be kept up to date with new episodes when the next one will be coming out. I'm going to be moving on and covering Irish history and the presence of Irish characters in a couple of other video games down the line. So subscribe to be kept up to date with when the next episode of this comes out, when I have decided what exactly it is that I am going to do. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you on the next one.